Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Best English Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm truly happy you're here with me right now. If this is your first time listening, I want you to know you didn't just click this podcast by accident. You're here because you care about your English. You want to grow, to learn, and to feel more confident every single time you listen or speak. And the beautiful thing is, you're not alone on this journey. We're walking it together. Here, we believe that learning a language should never feel cold or boring. It should feel alive, like a conversation with a friend who believes in you. That's why, every episode, we share real techniques and inspiring stories that make English part of your everyday life. Not just a school subject, but a living, breathing skill you can actually enjoy. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever been watching an English movie? Maybe one you were really excited about. And at first, everything feels okay. The actors are talking, the story is moving, but suddenly you realize you've lost the meaning. The characters keep talking. Their voices flow like a fast river, but you can only catch a few words here and there. You try to hold on, but the sentences feel like they're slipping away. And by the end of the scene, you're thinking, what just happened? I've been there. And I know many of you have too. The truth is, listening to English, especially in movies, can be one of the hardest skills to master. The speed, the accents, the slang, the background noise, it can feel overwhelming. But here's the exciting part. Once you learn how to use movies the right way, they can actually become one of the most powerful tools to train your ears, improve your understanding, and make you speak more naturally. Today, we're going to explore exactly that. How you can use movies not just for entertainment, but as your own personal English. Today, we're going to explore exactly that. How you can use movies not just for entertainment, but as your own personal English gym. A place where you train your listening every day, without feeling like you're studying. We'll talk about simple, realistic steps you can follow, and I'll share some real stories of learners who completely transformed their listening skills, all thanks to their favorite films. So, make yourself comfortable, grab your coffee, tea, or even a bowl of popcorn if you like. Because today, we're turning your movie time into the most fun English lesson you've ever had. Now, before we jump into the how, let's talk about why movies are such a powerful tool for improving listening skills. Movies are full of real-life English, not the kind you find in grammar books, but the kind people actually use in everyday conversations. You hear natural speed, different accents, slang, humor, even emotion in the voices. This variety trains your ears to adapt, so that in real life, you can understand people better. I remember one of my students, her name was Lila, who struggled a lot with listening. She studied English for years, and she could read articles and write very good essays. But when she watched a movie without subtitles, she felt lost. She once told me, "It's like I'm hearing English, but my brain doesn't recognize it." And I explained to her that it's completely normal. You see, the human brain needs time and repeated exposure to connect the sounds of a language with their meaning. That's exactly what happens when children learn their first language. They don't open a grammar book or memorize word lists. They listen, day after day, to voices around them, to stories, to songs. Slowly, they start to connect sounds with meaning. So when you use movies for listening practice, you're giving your brain the same kind of natural training. Now here's the problem many learners face. They press play, watch a movie once, maybe with subtitles, and then they stop. That's not enough. Your brain needs repetition. You have to hear the same phrases, the same tone of voice, several times until it feels familiar. That's why I always suggest starting with small sections of a movie. Instead of watching the whole thing at once, choose a short scene, maybe 1 to 3 minutes long. First, watch it without subtitles, just to see what you can understand. Don't worry if it feels difficult. Second, watch it again with subtitles and notice new words or phrases. Third, turn the subtitles off again and listen closely. This time, you'll recognize much more. We'll go deeper into this step-by-step method in the next part. But first, I want to share with you a personal story from a learner who completely changed his listening skills by following this exact approach. His name was Omar, and he loved action movies. But he told me, "Sarah, I watch them all the time, and still I don't understand much without subtitles." So we started a simple but powerful plan. Omar chose one of his favorite movies and picked just one scene, 2 minutes long. First, he watched it with no subtitles. He understood only a few words, and that was okay. I told him, "Don't panic. This is the starting point." Then he watched again, this time with subtitles. He paused often, wrote down new phrases, and even repeated them aloud. Next, he turned the subtitles off again and listened carefully. This time, he understood much more. But here's where the real magic happened. Omar started using the shadowing technique. Shadowing means you listen to a short sentence, then you immediately repeat it, copying the pronunciation, rhythm, and tone exactly as you hear it. At first, Omar felt shy and a little awkward. He told me, "It's strange to copy like that." But after a few days, something amazing happened. His ears became sharper, his pronunciation improved, and his brain started to recognize words instantly. I remember, after 2 weeks, Omar watched the same scene again, without subtitles, and smiled. He said, "Sarah, I finally understand almost everything they are saying." This is the power of focused listening and repetition. You see, when you hear the same phrases many times, in a natural conversation, your brain starts to connect them faster. Soon, when you hear them in a different movie or in real life, you'll understand them immediately. So if you really want to improve your listening skills with movies, you have to remember this golden rule. Don't just watch once. Watch with a purpose, with a purpose each time. In the next part, we'll explore exactly how you can make this a fun daily habit that fits easily into your life and keeps you motivated to practice every single day. One of my other students is a young woman named Lila. She is very passionate about romantic movies and soft, slow stories. When Lila started learning English, she could understand written text well, but listening was a big challenge. She told me, "Sarah, when people talk fast in movies, it feels like all the words mix together into one long sound." So, we created a special listening routine for her. Every evening, Lila chose one short romantic scene, usually with two people talking. She listened to it carefully, without subtitles, and wrote down what she thought she heard. Then, she played the same scene again and compared her notes. At first, she made many mistakes and missed some important words. But she didn't feel upset, because each mistake was a chance to learn. I also asked her to focus on the emotions in the actors' voices. If the actor sounded happy, surprised, or sad, she wrote a small note about it. This made her pay attention not only to the words, but also to the tone and feeling. After a few weeks, Lila told me she started to hear the emotions, even without seeing the subtitles. This made her listening much more natural. To make it more fun, Lila sometimes paused the scene and pretended to be one of the characters, saying the lines with the same emotion. This is a great way to train your ear, your voice, and your brain at the same time. I want you to remember, listening is not only about understanding words, it is about feeling the message, hearing the emotions, and connecting with the story. When you do this, movies become more than just entertainment. They become your classroom and your teacher. So, as we've explored, improving your listening skills with movies is not just about hearing the words, It's about understanding the feelings, the context, and the natural flow of language. To wrap up, let me share a short story that shows how steady listening and observation can lead to big progress. A few years ago, I had a friend named Sarah. She loved English movies, but always felt like she was missing half the story because she couldn't catch everything people were saying. Sometimes she would get frustrated and think maybe she just wasn't good at listening. One day, she decided to try a new approach. She picked her favorite romantic comedy and promised herself to watch it every day for a week. The same movie, same scenes. On the first day, she watched with subtitles in her own language, just to follow the plot. The next day, she switched to English subtitles. By the third day, she tried watching without any subtitles at all, focusing only on the tone of voice, the pauses, and the expressions on the actors' faces. At first, it felt impossible, but little by little, something changed. She started recognizing whole phrases, not just individual words. She noticed how the main character always said, "You know what I mean?" at the end of a sentence, and she even began to predict lines before they were spoken. By the end of the week, she didn't just understand the story better, she felt connected to the language. She told me, "I finally realized that listening is not about catching every single word, but about feeling the rhythm and meaning behind the words." And that's exactly what I want you to take away from this episode. Daily listening, even just 15 to 20 minutes, can transform your understanding over time. Focus on what interests you, listen actively, repeat often, and don't be afraid to revisit the same material. Most importantly, be patient and kind with yourself. Every small step is still a step forward, and before you know it, you'll be watching movies in English, laughing at jokes, and following conversations with confidence. Thank you for joining me today. Keep listening, keep learning, and remember, every minute you spend with English is a step closer to speaking it naturally.